Good morning and good afternoon. So I can tell you from the morning session, we had some interesting conversations and thoughts around implementing what we've learned. Now, what I wanted to tell you was what I'm going to share with you today is going to make you uncomfortable. If it doesn't make you uncomfortable, you're in the wrong place, right? So I always joke around, like, if I'm not making you uncomfortable, please, like, just save your money and leave. That's my job. It's to make you uncomfortable and then give you the confidence, systems, structures, processes to become confident and do it. Now, we went through the whole customer experience process yesterday. And my whole goal always for all of you is, how do we fill that gap? Do you know what the gap is that we're talking about? The gap is what you came here to learn, then doing it and implementing it in your business so you see a benefit to your business and life, right? So in terms of scoring a customer experience scorecard, how many of you feel confident on being able to do that on your own and understanding it? Drop it in the chat. Yes, no? Let's see what we have. Okay, good. So some of us said yes, some said no, and some of us won't respond no matter what. Fun. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Today is going to be an interactive session. We're going to pull out our customer experience scorecards, and I'm going to show you how to do this, right? And what we're going to learn, remember last week we went through the scorecard, then we talked about present state and future state. I want to show you how to do this with the scorecard. Now, I know from the morning session that we are going to we're going to spend both sessions next week going more into depth with this, because this strategic planning style of thinking is going to be completely new to you. And there are going to be a lot of different questions that you're going to have, right? If I look at Nathaniel, he's been here twice already today, right? He's been here in the morning and in the afternoon. So he's really sitting here, obviously trying to dial this in, as many of us are. Now, this is what I want to tell you. Nobody else is doing this. When I say nobody, I mean nobody. And do you know how I know this? Is because we came up with this, like most of our stuff, ourselves. This is not something we learned from other people. This is something that I've taken many different things and I put them together as one. Has anyone ever seen the movie Slumdog Millionaire, right? Like, and you see, like, in the end, like, he's getting like tortured. Like, how can you know all this different stuff? I always joke around, you could just call me Sal Lim from Slumdog Millionaire, because I have all these weird life experiences that culminate to this, right? And being a broker for 14 years of my life was my greatest gift, because I understand exactly how you think, how you work. I've spoken with clients. I can talk to your clients today because I've actually done it. And then I had this beautiful opportunity to work at Compass Corporate, where I got to learn this whole high-end corporate side from some of the smartest and brightest people in the world. Now the goal is how do we put these two together, build them on a platform that has the best technology, and voila. So strategic thinking, right? And strategic intent. Present state, future state. So the first thing we want to do is let's pull up our scorecards. So everyone take a moment and pull them up. Let me find the email in the chat. All right, I'll give everyone a moment to click this. Okay, so here's our next step now. we're going to start grading ourselves on doing this. Now, let me make this really simple. And somebody said this. It can get very complicated when you're sitting here like, what's the 1? What's a 5? What's a 6? Don't freaking do that. As soon as your mind does it, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Just assign a goddamn number and move on, for the love of God. Okay. So let me make this simple. If you suck at doing something, right, it could be like a 3 or 4 or 5. Right? But you're still actually doing it. If you're not doing it, put a 1 because now you know you need to do it, right? A 6 is I'm doing this, but like not really doing it great, but at least it's part of my process. A 7 means I'm actually doing it and it's a functional part of my process. An 8 is I'm doing it, my clients really like it, and it's something that I could like rest my laurels on and say it's something I do really well and I benefit from it. When you have a 9, it's like, okay, I'm using this, my clients are using it, and it's part of my overall business strategy, right? So let's walk through an example now. Creating a complete CRM contact with tags and notes. Now, hit simple if this sounds really stupid and simple to you in the chat. Let's see what the survey says. Simple. It's not simple. You want me to tell you why? Because nobody does this the right way. So here's how strategy works. And this is how you get to a 9. Okay, you can put somebody's contact in, but they say measure what matters. Now, what I'm trying to get you all into is the thinking of how to not do things transactionally, right? A transactional thinker is like, oh, I should put my CRM in the contact just so I have a contact that could put some information there, and I have to do it, right? It's like a 6 or a 7. You know what a 9 looks like? Let me tell you what a 9 looks like. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to make sure that I put their geographic area. I'm going to make sure that I tag that as a listing appointment. I'm going to tag that it's off market. I'm going to make sure to monitor it, right? That if they don't list with me, that they're not listing with anyone else. And I'm going to make sure to put the price point of the house that they're looking for, and there is much information about their Med C, their motivations, expectations, disappointments, and concerns. And now I know if I do this for every single one of my contacts, 2 years from now, Susan, if I need an off-market property and I pull this house up, I'm going to say, wow, 2 years ago, they wanted to sell. This was their motivation. This is what they want. This is why they wanted it. And here's all of this stuff. So then when I contact them, I can say, hey, Susan, it's Chirag. And I remember we met a couple of years ago about your home. Yeah, I have a very unique opportunity I'd like to discuss with you. Has anything changed 2 years ago? Blank, 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 blank. First thing that's going to happen, they're like, oh my God, what a great listener he is, right? Like, how could somebody remember all that? 2, when you need to influence people, you need their actual motivations of life to go to. Number 3, now you're using this as part of a bigger strategy. So it's not that simple, actually. Simple is actually just doing it and taking the time to do it, right? But we have to get out of this transactional thinking. Just stop, please. Every time you're doing something, you should say, how am I going to use this information and what's going to come next, right? So if you meet somebody at a retreat and you ask yourself, like, well, what should I put in a CRM? Great relationships are based on one thing. You know what that is? It's called listening. You need to listen to people, right? So if you listen to me on these things, you know I like sunsets and sunrises, and I like exercising. I live for my kids. I'm into personal development. So if you sent me a personal development article, I'll be like, oh, wow, they know that I like this, right? I have a handful of you that send me like these beautiful sunsets from Florida and California. I'm like, wow, I love this. This made my day. Thank you. And I remember people like that, right? So if you're not capturing and listening through the ear of like, what am I going to do next with it? So if I met all of you at retreat, right, I would simply just say, hey, like if I looked at Susan Malloy, I would say, and I was trying to build a relationship with her, I would send her a video that says, hey, Susan, it was so thoughtful of you just to come to the retreat to join our party. I really enjoy you keeping me company as I had this random meal over a table at the end of my party, and you stayed at the end so we could have a conversation. I look forward to speaking with you, and thank you for being part of our world. Done. And Susan, is that not correct based on our actual interaction? Right? So listen, if you're not capturing information with the understanding of what you're going to do next, there's no strategy in your business. Can we all agree that we're going to become strategic thinkers? Everybody nod their head yes. Okay. So now the first thing I want you to do, right, and take 2 minutes to do this, is grade yourself on putting in the CRM, the contact based on what we do, and drop your number in the chat. So what do we have here? An 8. Nice. 6, 6, 4, 4, 8, 6, 5, 9. I like it, Robin. 4, 7, 6. So look, great. Now we know what we have to improve, right? Now here's the fun part. And this is a challenging part. How do we think through actually improving? Okay, now let's go into this doc. Yeah, but what do you do when you time block? Let's walk you through the process. Now, everyone get into this doc.
I'm not sure that's a link we can access.
That is the link you can access. No.
Yeah, Chirag, the link isn't complete as copied.
Hold on. There we go. See, I'm human too. All right, everyone get in here. I'm looking in here. All right, people are getting in. Okay, perfect. We have 30 plus 32 people. Okay, do you guys remember this? Present state, future state, right? Now let's walk through this. So we want to identify the present state, right? Our present state is not using the CRM to document information so it can be of value in the future. You see this? Value in the future. So the first thing you want to do is how you do the little things is how you do the big things. How do we create value in the future for ourselves through this, right? What is our future state? Document city listing appointment off market, track if they list with another broker and be able to access the homes I want on appointments that did not list for the future opportunities for buyers. Is that big picture success? Yes or no? We can all say yes, right? Is everyone with me so far? So the first thing you want to identify is, right, it's where am I today and where do I need to go? Done. Now let's walk through the process for this. Okay. The first thing is if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you have to identify the gap. That's the present state. What are you doing right now? Currently, I rush through the process and simply enter the information to CRM. More to check it off a box than I do as a strategic approach to the future. What do you currently do? Enter the name and email of the people only. All right, so everyone take a moment and let's identify our present state. Like, what are we currently doing? Right? Write that down. I don't see somebody writing or typing. Leslie, what do we got going on over there? You're like one of the fortunate people on my screen.
Just trying to find the documents on my screen now.
Okay, here, hold on. I'll just put it in the chat again. Just click the chat button.
No, I have it. I have so many windows open.
All All right, let's talk about the 3-tab rule. Unless you're doing project work, you shouldn't have more than 3 tabs open or you're being unproductive. Guys, these websites are there to re-access again. There are a lot of us that are tab hoarders. You know what I'm talking about. And then the computer closes, you go, oh my God, how am I going to get my tabs back? It's really funny. I'm not going to lie, I tab hoard time to time too. And it's just, I know that if you tab hoard, it means you're distracted. Perfect. Now, once you've identified what you do, the gap is like your mindset. Currently, I'm just rushing through to do it for the sake of doing it. What I do, I only put the name and email only. Then there's filling the gap. What will success look like in the future when you make the improvements, right? For each listing appointment, I'll go and I'll document via tags the GeoCity off-market listing appointment. I'll update the notes with the motivations and reasons for the owners potentially moving for future reference. The more information I can collect via the MedC process, the more effective I could be in the future. If I had to influence the move or take another off-market offer. So now everyone build out their future state. Anyone want to share what theirs is? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
I can share.
Shoot.
My future state is I will actually take notes when I'm out with clients. So when they say something that I should be writing in my CRM, that I've got that somewhere, and that I should try and go in and add these things after, like at the end of a day when I've had these things and they're fresh in my mind, as opposed to trying to go back every 3 months and remember the things that I didn't take notes on. I am actually pretty good about some of the other things. But I think those are the 2 things in my future state that I need to work on.
So this is a good example. I'm going to stop my screen share for a second. Measure what matters. If you don't know what matters, you don't know what to measure, you don't know what to track, right? So the goal of doing this, you're looking for a repeatable process that creates predictable outcomes. And if you look at it, and I go back to when I was at the 4 Seasons at the Compass Retreat, it is a very repeatable process. They ask people all for the same thing so they can provide the same service. The question is, are you? Right? Are you doing that? So when you want to capture stuff, one, I look at the MedC, right? Motivations, expectations, disappointments, concerns. Those are like the 4 human drivers in decision making. So now let's go into actually the more grassroots tactics of what you actually do. Now, here's the solution, all right? How will you do it? I'll put the name, first and last of all party tags, GeoCity listing appointment off market, login activity for all conversations. There's that log activity button. Note sections will have as much info about their MedC as possible. And I'll utilize tasks as a way to follow up on all promises. Simple. Now, what will you do? Now, I want you all to make your list. I'm going to give everyone 3 minutes to do this. And if you're stuck, let me know. Utilize tasks. Wendy, every time I tell someone I'm going to do something, I make it as a task and it has to have a deadline on it, right? By 3 p.m. When you use the words like, I'll get it to you tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, excuse me, that is a vague term that 2 people can interpret differently. If you're a morning person and someone's like, oh, I'll get it to you by tomorrow morning, you're looking at it at 8 a.m., right? Other people believe that 11 a.m. is still the morning. So what is it for you? So let's see what you have. It's interesting. A bunch of you guys are sending me private messages. How do you utilize tasks and how do you put on business tracker? Well, I think one is here, hold on. Let me let's just go to utilizing tasks for today. Listen, right now, you just need to capture basic information, right? Don't start, I'm going to put everything. As soon as I start hearing the words, I'm going to do everything, that means most people do nothing because now you're trying to figure a whole thing out versus just one thing. Follow the process of doing this step by step by step. It is really important. So go to my buddy, Aaron. He's always if you need a great broker agent, Aaron's your guy. You see tasks, call again in 2 months. So look, if I talk to Aaron, right, your activity, I can log the activity here. It's the same thing hotels do. You log the activity. I have different notes in here, right, that can keep track of the conversations I had, tools, details, all the stuff is here, right? So if I go here to tasks, I want to add a task, and I'm going to say, need to send names of 3 contractors by 3 p.m., right? And I'm going to want to put the day, and that's a to-do. Right? They have different types of actions to do. And I put my calendar, and I say it needs it by tomorrow, and I'll hit add. Actually, I'll say it needs it today. So now we're like in the middle of an actual workflow. I hit add. Now, if I go to my tasks, oops. Today, send Aaron 3 names. So every time you tell a client something, in essence, if you make a promise and you create a task, this is like your unpaid, this is Compass paying for your assistant. All of these things are in here. And then if you click this, you can go to Aaron to view more details. You can go to this, you could open details, right? Like there's different stuff that you can do, and this can take you to the CRM, right? You can find out all the information you need. This is how simple this whole process can be. All right, we have 5 minutes left for questions today. Who has questions? So everyone understands the 4-step process to present state, future state, correct? Everyone understands how to go through their customer experience scorecard. Type in a 1 through 10, and then go back and start fixing all the ones. All right, listen, if no one has any other questions today, we put 5 minutes time back in our calendar. There's no questions, just need to get it done for every potential client. Suze, put in the chat the link to the sign-up form for people that might want to self-govern themselves and do this together. The 4-step process is
what if you have a lot of ones? Where would you say you should start?
anything that involves pre-qualifying. Tagging properties, if you look inside the doc that I shared, Jonathan, it says those things: a geographic location, that's a listing appointment, and that they're off market. Wendy, however you want to do it, I would just do what makes sense for you. There's no, it should go into an action plans or contact notes. These are tags assigned to a person. Okay, everybody. I have faith that you're going to get this done. Remember, map these out on big yellow Post-it notes. Ensure that you're taking the time to do this. And remember, this is the difference that makes the difference. Who the hell else is going through with strategic intent and present state and future state and their customer experience scorecards, right? Like no one else is doing this. And when you want to create a quantifiable, better business experience thought process, this is what you do. If you want to make more money, you need to learn how to think differently, because what got you here is not going to get you there. So anyone that wants to join these groups, right, click this doc and put in your information. Now, these groups are self-governed groups. These are not ones that we're creating. We're going to share the whole list with everybody. That's your job. You can find a name on the list and reach out to somebody. The 4-step process is create your present state and future state. Identify what you're currently doing, identify what needs to be fixed, and then identify the process. So it's like, what is the present state? What are you currently doing? What is your future state? And what are the actions? All right, everybody, sign up for the groups. Suze, put the chat in there. I'll leave this chat. We'll leave this chat open for the next several minutes to give people time to get on there. I think, I'm not sure how many people signed up, but I think a bunch of people did for the morning session, and we'll put this out in the recap. This is a great way to meet people. I would get into groups of 4 and I'd be a leader and reach out and connect with people. And I would literally just go into Zoom and let everyone do their work. And if they have questions, to reach out. All right, everyone. I'm going to drop off. We'll leave this open so people can sign up. Always the love in my heart. I love you all. We're going to be spending more time next week doing these working sessions so that you can go into it. Med-C is motivations, expectations, disappointments, and concerns. There is a video in our portal about this. So we will see everyone next week, and make sure to sign up for the groups if you'd like to collaborate with your fellow community members. Bye, everybody.